Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, we are Shavuot 5781 on the Hebrew calendar. That'd be 2021 in our Western Gregorian calendar. And it's day 7. Hamas and Israel, they continue to fight. And today is the 4th of 7 God appointments. Shavuot, or Pentecost, is scheduled to begin Sunday tonight, May 16th at sunset. For Shavuot, Jewish men have been commanded to come to Jerusalem and the temple for over 3,500 years since the time of Moses. Now, if you guys would like some more details on the appointment, click on the link below here, Pentecost Shavuot Feast of Weeks at the website at paulthepoke.com. And in light of the holiday, it would appear Israel's military is not stopping their intervention to formally recognize the holiday. So I have a quote here from Benjamin Netanyahu, and he says, "The party that bears the guilt for this confrontation is not us, it's those attacking us. We are still in the midst of this operation. It is still not over, and this operation will continue as long as necessary." And that's Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's comments as of yesterday. So to date, and this was as of yesterday as well, 2,300 missiles and rockets have been fired into Israel since Monday. And today is the 6th day. Actually, we're starting the 7th day. This is written last evening. So 2,300 plus missiles as of yesterday. And you can watch the Iron Dome anti-missile battery in action. And so here's a tweet from Israel Defense Forces. Hamas and Islamic Jihad continue to fire rockets from Gaza towards Israeli civilians. And they state, "We will continue defending Israel." And I think this is about 10 or 15 minutes. I don't know if we get any audio with this, but 2,300 rockets. This is about a 15-second clip. And all those little flashes are intercepts. So Hamas fires rockets, Israel fires anti-missile technology, little rockets, and they pick them right out of the air and blow them up. Now, some do get through. It's not perfect, but holy cow, it's pretty good and has limited damage. There was one, I think, a couple days ago that hit a fuel cell and caused a pretty good explosion in the south. So these are the types of things that Israel as a country is tweeting out. And then we get this from Twitter. The social media site blocked the IDF from sending messages regarding missile and rocket warnings to the citizens of Israel. And they did a screenshot of this. And they put, "We tried to tweet about sirens sounding in Beersheba," it's in the south, "but Twitter wouldn't let us. We know it's repetitive, but that's the reality for Israelis all over the country." And Twitter blocks it. "Tweet not since. Whoops, you already said that." Well, hey, guess what, Twitter? They continue to fire missiles into the country. I mean, you think about that. We wouldn't put up with that for 1 second here in the United States. So, we're talking a country about the size of, New Jersey? And that would be like New York City attacking New Jersey, and New York City's just constantly firing missiles into New Jersey. And sirens blare, and, they would try to notify people via Twitter. No different, but Twitter, the bastion of free speech that it is. I mean, that's another thing. You're either for free speech or you're not. And just blocking a tweet for the safety of other people is crazy. And here's the difference. And the press is having a fit over this yesterday with Israel. And there was a building that housed Middle East Eye, Al Jazeera, the Associated Press out of the United States, and some other press outlets, was destroyed with a precision munition. The building was in the middle of a neighborhood. I think it's 12 or 13 stories. And the IDF gave an hour notice and multiple other warnings to evacuate the building. They even dropped some stuff on the roof and had some mild explosions to make it, to kind of reverberate through the buildings like as a warning, hey, get out of here. We're getting ready to blow this thing up. And as soon as they got the word, they being the IDF got the word that the building was empty, they took care of it. And the quote, that the IDF released was the building was home to Hamas intelligence. And that's pretty much all they said. Entities belonging to the military intelligence of the terrorist organization Hamas. And there's a video from the Middle East Eye where one of the managers, or I don't know if he's the manager, maybe part owner. He was a high-ranking official, I think, of Middle East Eye, trying to tell people, look, please don't do this. And here is the video. There's the first shot. Watch this. You can see which one it is. It's the one here in the middle. And this takes about 2 minutes and 49 seconds for it to run its course. Israel forces bomb a tower block in Gaza City, housing several international media offices, including Middle East Eye and Al Jazeera. And if you want to listen to it, I'd recommend going to the site. And you can watch this. It takes about 2 hours and 50 seconds, or 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm sorry, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Let's see if I can. There, no, right there. Watch this. Now watch all the other buildings around this. I mean, they stay. Nothing gets affected except for the one, and it just crumbles on itself. I mean, nobody was inside. Our warning was given. Drop some leaflets and some other stuff. Release some comments on public airways. Made it very clear what was going to happen. And look at these other buildings. They're all still standing. And that was the other thing, too. There are shots of people in the street, 2-3 blocks away with their cell phones. And they were comfortable enough to stick around there and film it. They knew they were maybe they knew. I don't know. That's giving somebody a lot of credit. I wouldn't have been sticking around there if I knew Israel or anybody was getting ready to blast a building in a city block. That takes some courage in and of itself, courage or just, frankly, stupidity. I would have been gone as far as I could go, but that wasn't me. But there were people standing there with their cell phones taking videos, getting ready to watch this thing go down. And they did. And they were able to live and tell about it and post it on social media so we could have shots like that. And you can tell that shot was taken from several blocks away. But there are ground level shots and videos of people and scores of them. They're standing around 10, 20 at a time. Everybody's got their cell phone focusing, taking a picture of it. So you can't make this stuff up. And which takes us to last evening. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and this is in English because I know a lot of the ones that he's put out in the past have been in Hebrew and you read the English captions below, but this is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and it's all in English. It's about 5 minutes. And in the quote from this, it's been 5 days since Hamas brazenly fired rockets at Jerusalem and other Israeli cities in a totally unprovoked attack. This past week, millions of Israelis were forced into bomb shelters as missiles rained down on our cities. This is about a 5-minute clip. Highly recommend everybody listen to this. It's unedited. Well, if it's it's a stream of his comments that's not going to be edited by any press agency where they cherry pick what they want you to hear. You can go to this, click on this at Twitter, and you can hear for yourself what he says from his mouth. Now, you may not believe him and you think he's full of hot air and you're opposed to what Israel's doing, and that's fine. I get that. But you will also get 5 minutes of unedited comments from this guy. It's from his mouth. It's from the nation of Israel. And some of you guys will say, well, yes, it's propaganda. I understand that. But you can hear what he has to say. And, of course, those who are pro-Israel in this battle and this conflict, you're probably going to appreciate the comments that are being made. So, but 5 minutes of what he has to say, and you don't have to worry about somebody cutting into it, giving you a 10-second sound bite and then telling you what to think about it. So That's one of the things that I try to do here is get the actual comments, unedited, raw comments, so people can hear it for themselves and listen to it for themselves without being told what to think, how to think, and the spin on it. Yeah, everything has spin. I understand that. What he's saying is spin, but it's his spin. It's Israeli spin. So you can listen to it yourselves. And then lastly, we need to keep a close eye on the northern border of Israel. And this is up in the Golan Heights. This is curious. And then we've got little pockets of stuff taking place. And this is from NBC News analyst Evan Coleman. He tweeted out the following: upwards of 5 rockets were fired toward Israel yesterday. And it's from the Quneitra province in Syria. And for those folks who've been following the blog for a while, the Quneitra province is on the border of the Golan Heights in the northeast of Israel. And the Quneitra province is home in Syria, home to Russian, Syrian, Iranian, Hezbollah, UN troops, and now apparently other factions. I'm sure there were other factions there before. But this incident yesterday is different than the 3 rockets fired from Lebanon the day before. And again, this is from Evan Coleman with NBC News. And he makes the comment. Now, this is fascinating too. I'm gonna go to the top tweet first. Earlier Friday, Ashab al-Kaf had threatened to launch retaliatory attacks against Israel if the U.S. attempted to aid Israel in its battle with the Palestinians. And my wife had picked up on a comment in an article. The United States pulled 120 troops out of Israel yesterday, or on Friday as well. So it makes me wonder if that communication, it probably was more than just, I don't think Ashab al-Kaf is a concern of the United States, but they may be a proxy for Iran or Hezbollah, Syria. And if you follow the factions and the brands of Islam, to the tweet below, representatives of Iraqi Shiite, and these folks are Shiites, and I know there are people out there, no, they're not Shiites, they're this or they're that, and it's, well, okay, fine. There are all these different little sects, but the bottom line, this has to do with Iran wanting a Shia corridor from Iran to the Mediterranean Sea to control the flow of oil and gas. And Russia's there to help, and Russia and Iran are going to enjoy the spoils of them controlling the oil and gas from Iran to the Med. And that way they could bypass the Persian Gulf, could bypass the Suez Canal, and they could go straight to the Mediterranean. It would save them a lot of time and money to be able to do that. So let's just get right down to brass tacks. This is about oil, money, gas, and controlling the flow of it in a faster, quicker way to sell to Western Europe and to sell to people in South America. That's what this is about. And representatives of Iraqi Shiite insurgent faction, Ashab al-Kaf, are insisting that your Iraqi brothers participated. And some of these folks in northern Iraq are Shia as well. And they participated in the rocket attack earlier today targeting Yasud ha-Ma'ala, Kfar Blum area in northern Israel, launched from Syria's Quneitra province. So, small thing happening. It is in the north, and to me, that's where the real action is on this deal. Because of Ezekiel 38:39, we got the burden of Damascus from Isaiah, and Jeremiah's got some prophecies. I believe it's in Jeremiah 49. I may be off on that off the top of my head, but Jeremiah has prophecies talking about Damascus becoming a pile of rubble. And that whole thing starts from the northern border on the Syrian-Turkey border and works its way south and ends up in Damascus. So lots of things prophetically taking place in and around these actions in the northern part of Syria. So, the fighting continues. The sirens continue to blare throughout the land of Israel. And we need to watch it. They're not letting up. Neither side's letting up. And my hunch is nothing's going to happen. There may be a few things that happen in the north, but I don't anticipate anything significantly happening now. And I suspect Hamas and the Gaza Strip is going to get their nose bloodied pretty good. Erdogan's chirping. He wants to put troops in eastern Jerusalem to protect the Palestinians, which again would further the cause of Ezekiel 38 and 39. Lots of moving parts with this event that is happening now. We need to keep an eye on it. Potentially some major prophetic implications. Now we know how it ends, but you can see the stage is being set and things are happening. So if you appreciate this stuff, please feel free to share with others at paulthepoke.com. Also, this will be categorized under Gaza Strip. Where do we go? In Philistia. Click on that and you can see all the events leading up to what we have now in May of 2021. And it is also going to be categorized under Pentecost, Shavuot, Feast of Weeks. These events are happening. And per usual, we got action, things happening on God's appointments. So appreciate you guys following along. Wishing you all a great day. Take care. Bye.